Hello everybody, this is Beth Myers and I am a Law of Attraction empowerment coach, mentor, and speaker of Arrival Coaching, and welcome today to Flip It Friday, where we are going to turn upside down and take a look at the lyrics for the song by Andy Grammer, Fortitude. So I got to practice the fortitude part a few minutes ago. I tried to get online a little bit early, and then my internet connection was shaky. So I just really went back to myself, took that deep breath, and said, okay, let's try this again. So we are trying it again, and it looks like Facebook is building an audience. And for those of you that are able to join live today, thank you for being here. And please log in and say hello to let me know who's joining us today. And feel free to make comments, ask questions, to really dive a little bit deeper into the subject of fortitude, which is one of the empowerment words that I've chosen for this year. We're going musically A to Z, and then starting over for the entire year. So we'll get 52 empowerment words that we're going to dive a little bit deeper to and connect those with a song. I do that on Mondays on Facebook with the Music Monday post. And then on Wednesday, if you sign up to receive the lyrics, you can do that by on Facebook going to Musical Musings and just signing up to receive that on Wednesdays. And it gives you kind of a conversation guide to get us started with diving a little bit deeper into the lyrics and the meanings. So Kathy, I see that you're with us today. Thank you so much. Susan, I think I just saw you pop up there. So glad that you're able to join in today in the conversation. And again, today we're going to go deeper into the song that I picked for this week, which is Andy Grammer's Keep Your Head Up. So I was having to do that a little bit earlier as I was saying, yes, happy Friday, Susan. I'm so grateful it is Friday. So we're going to practice that fortitude today. So let me know what you are wanting to dive a little bit deeper with practicing fortitude during your week, especially this past week. Kathy says, often you don't look closely at lyrics to soak in what they're saying. You just like the beat and to bounce along with it. Could you imagine if a negative song was catchy and made us bounce along? Yikes. And you know what, Kathy, sometimes that does happen. I'm drawn to songs that are very empowering. They may have a catchy beat and rhythm, and there's some songs that I enjoy just that piece of it. But what I like to do is take those lyrics and really listen to those, kind of like a piece of poetry, and being able to look at that and see, well, what meaning is that? Does that song have as a message for me? I look at it as kind of a whisper from the universe, telling me something that I can take away from that. And that's why I decided to do the Flip It Fridays, and I'm so glad that you are joining today, either live or on the replay. Kathy says, yes, this embodies your motto. Yes, my motto for my company, for Arrival Coaching, is Journey to Thrive, not just survive. Antonio, so glad that you're joining us today. Thank you so much for coming and being with us live and joining in on the conversation. So let's get started with thinking about the song, Keep Your Head Up. What is something that you've needed this week in particular to keep your head up and having to show that fortitude? I know for me it was exercise again. I've come back to that one as being able to move through and get back into that routine. I used to have a really good routine with exercise, and then things shifted in my life and it was more of just being in that survive mode and taking in those things that helped me to thrive as I could catch a hold of them. And so, my journey this year in 2017 is to bring more joy into my life, and I find that exercising really does allow that in my life. Susan's saying, I love I love feeling into the lyrics. Yes, that is really an awesome way kind of to ease in, like our song was Ease On Down the Road last week, to ease into, what is that meaning that you can take away from that? Hi, Antonio. I see you saying hello. Thank you so much. And let's take a look at some of the lyrics here. It talks about focusing on what we don't want and what we don't want to receive more of, because he starts out the song talking about he's waiting on the sunset. So he's waiting for that moment to take in the beauty and the joy. But then he keeps going back to those worries that he has, and thinking about his bills, thinking about, the income's not where he wants it to be. And a lot of times in life we end up focusing on those things that we really don't want, things that we want to be better, but we find ourselves in that spiral of worrying and all the what ifs, or staying stuck there. So it's really being able to focus more on, well, what is it that we do want? So there's something that you can do in the moment when that's happening, and that's called pivoting. And it's being able to, just like you do in a basketball game, and you would pivot to, turn to make a shot a little bit differently, or turn on the basketball court to avoid one of the defenders if you were coming down the court with the ball. And I know you like sports. I'm not sure that basketball is your sport, but that's the one that my dad always talked to me about. You got to be able to pivot with the ball. Well, we've got to be able to pivot in life as well. And when we start down that rabbit hole of all those negative thoughts that are coming our way, like Andy Grammer talked about, then we can pivot to what is it that we do want, and not staying stuck in that thought or that moment. Kathy's saying taking a step back and trying to look at a situation and realizing that it probably will work out okay. And that's what Andy Grammer's saying in his song. He's saying if you keep your head up, you're able to see that. It's not like you're looking at the ground, watching, waiting for something bad to happen, or the next thing to, tumble out. You're really looking at how do you be able to pivot into that better feeling thought and feeling. And Antonio is saying, I'm loving the analogy. I'm glad you are. I remember playing basketball, and Kathy remembers playing basketball and being taught by our dad up in the barn and shooting baskets. And he was just a big fan of, you got to pivot and move to how you want to make that best shot. Susan says her favorite part of the song is, this is just a journey, drop your worries, you're going to turn out fine. Yeah, believing that, knowing that, really stepping into that feeling of knowing that it's happened before, you've been able to do it, you've been able to move through, and that other people, finding hope in other people's stories, being able to hear what they've done to help them move through. Talking to our friends who have that positivity that can help lift us up, listening to people. We talked last week about, going on a news diet, and I had to laugh yesterday. A friend and I were having conversation over dinner, and I was telling her about last week's Ease On Down the Road and about the news diet conversation. And she's like, oh, I think I need to go on one of those. And then she texted me last night and was saying, oh, I started watching the news. I guess I better turn that off so I can get focused on more positive things before I go to bed tonight. So, I love that line as well, Susan, of, things are going to turn out just fine. And when we can remember that we're that deliberate creator, that we can choose the thoughts and the things that we pay attention to in our life, that's something that's really a key piece in that shift and that pivot that we want to occur. So, that's some of the lyrics there. Does anybody else have another line in the lyrics that really jumped out at them, that is a go-to reminder as they go through their day? I tend to have these songs and the lyrics playing in my head throughout the week, and thinking about different situations or people and myself. keep your head up. As I was exercising the other day and I was getting tired, it was like, okay, Beth, gotta keep your head up. Whoa, and that was going through my head. So, I think that's one of the things that can really help keep us going, because songs and music embed those tracks kind of in our brain and can be kind of our go-to way to really pivot in our day. How often have you turned on the radio or turned on Pandora or something like that and listening, and all of a sudden a song pops on the radio and you're like, oh my gosh, I love that song, and it brings you to a different place and brings you a different energy as you're listening to that song. That's one of the things that I just love about music, is it can transport you to another place. And that's really the thing about pivoting our thoughts, is that stop, think about where you are, and okay, is that really where I want to be? How can I shift my thought, my energy, turning the radio up a little bit louder? That's a way to just really bring that energy in, and maybe even listen to the lines of in the lyrics a little bit deeper, and saying, wow, I didn't realize that that's what they were talking about, or wow, that's a different perspective than I had looked at previously. I really like the reference to persevering. I really believe that this song, and the reason I picked it for Fortitude, it's all about that perseverance and that persistence and moving through, especially when things can be really challenging. I liked the one line that he said about, I see all the angles start to get tangled and I start to compromise. And so often when we get tangled up in the emotions and the energy of something that isn't really what we want, it's not what we've desired, and we find ourselves in the middle of it. One of the things that we can do is be able to really look at, well, what are the possibilities? What are the options? Because there are always many, many options out there. My teacher and mentor, Christy Whitman, always talks about there are at least 9 other options that are out there that you can find, or perspectives, to be able to help solve the problem that might be at hand. So one of the things is, as you're sitting with those choices and those options, being able to think about, what is it that you're not willing to compromise on? What are you, when you make that final decision of what it is that you choose to do, to maybe shift or do something a little bit different, to persevere through something that can be really challenging in your life at the moment, make sure that you really look at, what is it that I'm not willing to compromise on? Because that will keep you solid. It will help you stay true to yourself and be in what aligns best for you. You will know that answer. It will come from within. And I've talked to many friends recently, and people that I know that have been going through some really, really challenging times. And things that are very unexpected, not welcome, certainly in the initial way that they're presented. And I always like to look at things as, when we can step back from it, when we can settle into acknowledging, first of all, how we feel, really being with that. Just like Andy Grammer talked about, his thoughts went to the bills on the mindset, the breadcrumb income that's coming in. He then, was able to shift that to a place of, if I keep my head up, I keep looking and for those possibilities, those answers, they come into your life. Maybe you can think about a time right now that you have had something come into your life that was totally unexpected. A person, a story, a situation, an opportunity that maybe you didn't expect. And feel free to share that. Type that into the comments. Share with me something that really helped you shift when a situation seemed like it wasn't going forward in the way that you wished it was. So take just a minute and think about that. And if you want to share it, feel free to do that. If you are watching the replay, feel free to share that in the comment, and I'll be glad to respond and take that in and see what we can do. What I'm noticing is that Facebook has shifted their comments to the left side of the screen. So when I'm looking over to the left, I'm reading the comments that people are typing in. So it's not that I'm trying to avoid your eye contact or anything like that. Oh, and I see that there's several other comments here that I've been missing. So Kathy's saying, yes, being a deliberate creator. Susan says, my life and the purpose, is it all worth it? Yeah, we question that a lot of times, don't we? Antonio says, I totally love raising my vibration through music. It's amazing. It really is. That's one of my go-to things. When I need my vibration to raise, I go to music. I think it's just amazing. Let's see. There's some more comments here. Let's see what... I always ask myself if I'm honoring myself. Thank you, Susan, for bringing that up. That's a really good way to not focus on the not, as far as not compromising, but being able to say, am I honoring myself? I love the way that you stated that. It's very positive. It's in that I am affirmation type format. So I love that, and that will be my new statement of how am I going to honor myself? Am I honoring myself? And then I am, when I've decided that that's what I'm doing, I am honoring myself by getting up and exercising this morning. Excuse me. Kathy saying, yes, Susan, watching this has made me happier today. Feeling more hopeful. And that's really why I decided to do Flip It Fridays, is I feel like there's, so much out there that we can get really focused on that can really can pull us down. And having conversations that can raise our energy, raise our vibration around music that can really do that for us in so many different ways, whether it's just with the musical composition itself or really diving deeper with the lyrics. Kathy's saying news. Yes, I know. If we go on a news diet, we don't necessarily hear all of the news out there. We choose the news that we choose to pay attention to in snippets and not indulging and taking in too much of it where it overwhelms us and doesn't really help us on our journey to thrive. So I think we're going to go ahead, and it's about into almost the 20-minute mark. So I try and do these between 15 and 20 minutes. It really depends on the conversation and the questions and things that people bring up. But remember that you're your own playwright. You get to decide on the script that you design for yourself and how you want your day to flow. And we'll get into a little bit more about how to continue to do that. Today's strategy of just being aware and pivoting, I hope you'll take that away with you and see how you can use that in your life to continue on that journey to thrive, not just survive, with flowing with fortitude. Which is persevering. We have to persevere and persist, but we can do it in a more fun and easy way. And by joining in on the conversation today, I really have loved the thumbs up and the love signs today to let me know that this was something resonating for you. If you're watching the replay, please feel free to leave your comments, questions, and I will be very happy to reply to those. If you would like to get in touch with me, Beth@arrivalcoaching.com. Feel free to reach out at me. You can also go on Facebook to the Musical Musings section and sign up to receive the lyrics each week and a conversation guide to get started. Antonio, thank you. You're saying infinite appreciation for you. I thank you so much, Antonio, and I so appreciate you being here today to join in on the conversation. And thank you, Susan and Kathy, for some of your comments and conversation as well. And for anybody else out there that was watching, thank you for being here live. I will be here again next Friday for Flip It Friday at 12 noon, and we will be doing the letter G, and it will be on gratefulness. So I look forward to you joining in on that conversation. Excuse me. Again, I'm Beth Myers of Arrival Coaching, Law of Attraction Empowerment Coach, mentor, and speaker, and may you have a fabulous Friday. Much love to everyone. Take care and enjoy your weekend.